plus plus.
Yes.
I like that. I like that. Keith Smith, you feeling good? You looking fresh, Keith Smith?
I'm feeling good, looking good. I'm just thinking.
You are looking good.
Thank you. I just thinking. Oh, stop it. Okay, come
help
on,
it.
more.
I want to say
more. Look, you
Handsome
work
W.
in Times Square. This ain't nothing.
This ain't nothing.
This ain't nothing.
No, but I couldn't make the casting.
So were you that?
Huh?
No, that I was going to talk about the underwear cowboy guy, but we'll do
Oh,
that
I
later.
know that guy.
Yeah, I think you
No,
would.
he's there with the guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, he's such a cool guy. He gets a lot of attention.
We're going to have fun today.
He gets a lot of attention. I like this guy already. All right, let's have
Jeez,
some fun,
I wonder
guys.
why.
Sit back, relax,
Underwear.
learn about the market. Oh, you got a new profile picture,
Yeah.
Maggie. I like it.
Yeah.
That's very nice. Very nicely done.
I wasn't sure if it was too lush. I texted every woman in my life.
New
Is this too
profile
lush?
picture.
Is this too lush?
Very nicely
I had
done.
another one that I took down.
Guys, give the show a like and a share. We're live on all social channels. We're about to rock and roll here on the Monday edition of Real Talk. Judah Wickhauer, we're in your hands, my friend. Ooh, got some questions for you.
Why am I nervous? Is it? Can people hear us?
Yes.
Oh, we're on.
Okay, now you know.
Hello. Sorry.
Good Monday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith. Thank you kindly for joining us on the I Love Seville Network. We are live legitimately on every social media platform known to mankind, and on some platforms, 15 pages carrying this show, like 15 Facebook pages right now. Give the show a like and a share anywhere you are watching. If you'd like to offer some thoughts and perspective, put it in the feed, and we will relay it live on air. Judah Wickhauer is our director. We always give him props in the beginning of the show. And why don't we go to the studio camera and let's welcome a talented panel. Keith Smith, you know.
Yes.
Maggie Gunnels, I think everyone knows.
Hello.
Joseph Barron, an introduction for you for the entire community. Woo! Introduce yourself
Thank
to everybody
you.
that's watching, my friend.
Oh my gosh. I'm Joseph Barron. I live here in Lake Monticello. I've been out in the area about almost 10 years now. I've been in real estate. I'm part of the Gunnels Group with Maggie, and I'm really excited to be part of the show. So thank you, Jerry.
It's great to have you.
Appreciate
He's an expert tennis player, by the way.
I see that on your
Yeah.
Facebook page.
Oh yeah, I love to play tennis. So I grew up playing tennis. My dad helped me get into tennis. So and I actually met Maggie through her mother.
Fantastic.
So her mother plays tennis, and her dad, and so it's a great community.
Along with our love for real estate, we'll weave Keith Smith in the mix here. Along with our love for real estate, Joseph, we have another thing in common. We love racket sports. I'm literally at the Boar's Head every single day.
I was there Saturday.
I am there every single day playing
Yeah?
some kind of racket sport. Normally squash, maybe double squash, some pickleball, but I love tennis. Have you played padel yet?
And hang on.
Have you heard of padel?
No, I have not.
Yeah,
But let's
go ahead.
I want to back up. You
Please.
said you play pickleball?
I play all racket sports.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, all racket sports.
I don't know if I could be on this show right now because
Literally all racket sports I play. You would like padel at Greencroft.
okay.
It's
All
coming
right.
from Spain. It's hit Charlottesville. It's one of the few padel courts in the United States. But we sidetrack. We'll talk real estate. Guys, how's the market doing? Maggie, you want to start?
The market's great. We are in a stronger market. Am I not wrong about that? A stronger market than I think a lot of people were predicting. But I always said I thought we were going to be in a strong market this year because we have no inventory. And so when you have no inventory, that's supply and demand. We have to build it to create it, and not a lot of sellers are going to be motivated to sell. So we have a ton of inventory, a lot of really qualified buyers. There's nothing existent in the $200,000 price range. Even the $300,000 price range is just practically non-existent. So we are in a strong seller's market, right? This is a seller's market.
I would not disagree with that. I'm actually going to talk a little bit later about 2017, but I want to stay on tennis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your favorite player and my wife and I's favorite player is the same person. We are Nadal.
Nadal.
Huge
Rafael
Nadal.
Nadal. I am a
Nadal's the
big
man.
fan.
He's the man.
But what is he
He
going to
is
do
the
now?
man, huh?
Is he still in? Is he out? Is he going to
He's still playing.
He's still playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still playing. Yeah.
So I did prepared yesterday for the show, and I was taking a look at what's active in Lake Monticello just to get that off the table. Right now, well, actually yesterday evening at 8 o'clock there was 11. I just opened it up. Now there's
I've got 2 more coming.
and now there's 10. So we're now down to 10 units, and we have 2
Watch
more.
out.
I've got a
2 more
waterfront coming, by the way.
So let's kick in on that right away. So folks, talk to me, guys, about the conversation at the kitchen table to convince folks it's a good time to put a house on the market. Because we're hearing, oh, should I wait? So let's talk about that conversation, Maggie.
I always say it's when you're ready. Whatever your life situation is, that's the time. You can never really, aren't some of the best investors out there the ones that never try to aim high or low? They always just try to aim in the middle. And I feel like now it's whenever you're ready, and now's a great time. We have very little inventory on market, a lot of very serious buyers out there. I brought a house to market recently that I wasn't quite sure what kind of traffic we would get on it, and because I even priced it, we were priced kind of ambitiously slightly, and I mean, I think I had 20 showings within the first 5 days, and it was a high price per square foot value, and we're under contract. So I just think the market, knowing the fact that we have no supply, we have an abundance of buyers, serious buyers in the market, even rentals. I mean, you can't find any rental property either. So,
If you do, they're rather expensive.
they're very expensive. And so, yeah, I think I always, you never can really time. Some people can time it, they get lucky, but you never really, you got to go when the time's right for you. Whether it's December, I mean, there's strategies that you can put into place to kind of hedge your bets in the right direction. But, now's a great time.
So you're representing a buyer, and you're hearing all this. What's that conversation sound like or look like?
Well, it looks like you just want to take care of them. They're coming to you for guidance, and I try to make it like an adventure. We're going to go out, we're going to find a house, but we're not going to pressure you. It's not about us, it's about them. And when it comes to home buying, it's a big investment for them. So you got to take your time and you got to strategize. You got to figure out what works for them or what doesn't work for them. But it could take a week, it could take 3 months, it could take 6 months, or even 2 years before somebody actually finds the right home. But it's our job to kind of guide them along in that journey. So we got a great team. We got the best right here.
So we call it a trusted advisor, and that's what we do for folks.
Yes, sir.
I think rates have been such an issue for buyers right now, and so many buyers have been nervous about pulling the trigger because of rates. And somebody said to me recently, date the rate, marry the home. And what do you think about that, Keith? I think
my grunt answered that. I hate that saying.
You know what, though? It's so true, though.
I dislike that
It's
so
so-
much, but I've covered that before.
Oh, have you?
We'll let you continue.
It's true, though. When you find the right property, you have to jump, and we have to figure out ways to secure it. And so, yeah, I mean, rates, do you remember during the Great Recession, during a real serious crisis, not that we don't have, this too shall pass, whatever it is that people are thinking and feeling, I guess is the point. But during that time frame, no one was crying rates. I don't remember anybody complaining about rates being in the 6s at that time. That was when I got my first house, was 6 1/4.
I got my first house at 6 1/8, and I was happy to get it. It was 6 1/8. I was
Right.
jumping for joy. I'm like,
Yeah.
I got a mortgage. I got a house.
Right.
I can start making some money and start
Right.
paying myself instead of paying a landlord. That's literally what I said, to your point.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that house that I'm thinking of, I bought that in November of 2007. That was like the
Like
absolute.
when I got it.
Yeah, it was like the worst time you could have ever bought a house in the last decade. It was like the worst month, literally. The market crashed like a few weeks later. And that house, I remember during the Great Recession, people saying to me, "Oh, you should short sell it. You should foreclose on it. You should just unload that piece of property," because we had, I owed $100,000 more than it was worth at the time. Well, hey, guess what? I threw a tenant in there the last decade. They've paid for the house, and
Literally what I've done.
Yeah.
I've had that house, and I think tenants have paid the mortgage more than I have.
exactly.
And there is now no mortgage on it.
And
From the villas at Southern Ridge.
Right.
Literally what I did.
And let's say you didn't pay it off, even still, he would have equity in it today. So again, you have to think long term with real estate. This is never, sure, yes, there are.
Well said, Maggie.
There are equity buys that you can do in the market. In fact, we have people right now that are buying with equity buys, which is really, really, really hard to find right now. But this too shall pass. Think long term,
Yeah.
and especially for real estate, if you can hold it, hold it. But sell it when you want to sell it. Call me. But you should
No.
try and hold it always.
Absolutely.
I sent you a friend request, Joseph. If you can accept that on Facebook,
Oh.
then I can see
Oh,
the
we're
friends that are
friends.
giving you some props right there.
Let's do this.
Woody Fitcham is giving Maggie Gunnels props.
Hi, Woody.
Woody says Maggie is top-notch people. Happy
Aw,
to see
thank
her on
you.
here.
Thank
Nicholas
you.
Erpy says he loves this panel.
Yay.
Questions are already coming in on Lake Monticello from viewers and listeners. We'll get there in a matter of moments. Keith Smith, jump in here.
Yeah, I thought our chemistry would click off when you would kind of kick off, and Smith over here paid 18%, my first house mortgage.
Did
that I got.
you?
Yeah, it was in 1987.
Right.
But to everybody's point, we refinanced it a couple of times,
Right.
but we got into the game.
Right.
18% mortgage on a $150,000 house at that time was a lot of money per month. But I think what has happened, everybody's kind of settled back in, and we're going to get into some old Lake Monticello data and some current Lake Monticello data on that stuff. But
Yeah.
but you're 100% right. It's I'm looking at it right now. There's 10 homes for sale at Lake Monticello.
Which is nothing.
Yeah, 2017, I did a presentation on the 11th day of the 11th month, and there was 52 homes for sale. That snapshot on that day versus
In
10
2017.
2017.
Right.
And interest rates, by the way, I checked, was at 4%
Right.
at that particular point in time.
Right, and think about it. I mean, back in 2007, 2008, during the real crisis, that time we had 200 plus homes on the market at the
Yeah.
lake. And even then, when you take into consideration what that percentage is compared to how many houses are at the lake, that's nothing. Like, it's still not a huge amount of property. When you would see properties in like other parts of the country, like Florida and Arizona, they would say like half the community is for sale or whatever it is. That never really happened. And our even unemployment rates here in Charlottesville had always stayed relatively low as well. So. I feel like this region is always a good investment, no matter when you buy, especially if you can hold long term.
So before we get to specific Lake Monticello questions, I just want to throw something out to the two of you guys to jump in, because we get this all the time. So why isn't
Ooh, Betsy Gunnels is getting props on the feed right
oh
here.
yeah, she's
She
a legend.
better.
Oh my gosh,
gets
she's getting props to Lake Monticello. Look at
Yes.
this. Noel Jurgensen, Lake Monticello. That's a great tennis community and it's a wonderful selling point for Lake Monticello real estate. Thanks to Betsy Gunnels and others. And then Noel says, hey, Joseph, I love him.
I love you,
That to you
Noel.
right there.
We love
Yeah.
Joseph and I have so much fun. He's literally, anybody that gets to work with him is going to be so
Stop.
lucky.
Richie Cubbage and Tammy Price giving our homie some props over here. Joseph Barron.
Tammy.
Joseph Barron cracks me up over here. I love it.
we have so much fun. My mom,
I need
by
another
the way,
sip
I
of
just
coffee
have to
here.
say-
You need that coffee. If you want some, it's good coffee next door.
How about this question? Can you call Lake Monticello a community for first-time home buyers in Central Virginia anymore? From Grayson, who is watching in North Downtown.
Yes.
Who wants to touch that
Yeah,
one?
I will. Absolutely, 100%. Because guess what? When you take it into consideration compared to the rest of the region, it's the only thing that is affordable. And so Keith, you'll appreciate this. Did you ever think those little ranchers, those little 1,200 square foot, 3-bed, 2-bath, shotgun ranchers would ever trade over $250 without a garage? I mean, I was on Jefferson. I mean, sorry.
So I'm
listening,
now-
but
I'm-
that's shocking.
So there's only one home under the price of $375,000 in Lake Monticello,
Right.
And it's exactly what you're talking about. There's one for $254,500,
Right.
but it's actually
What are the specs on it?
yeah. So thank you for asking.
Yeah.
1,344 square feet, ranch with a small one car garage.
Oh, yeah.
So perhaps condition or something or whatever. It's some other. I mean,
I'm surprised that hasn't.
269.9.
that
I don't know.
I'm surprised that hasn't come off the active list.
There's something
It's
going
probably
on.
going to either be today or tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
morning.
Yeah, right, or that.
Oh, yeah.
Where it comes
Or-
off.
or
But
now.
to Grayson's point, though,
like
it's $375 first-time home buyer right now.
Right, it kind of is. On the low threes is, I feel like, that entry level zone right now, that 300 range, which, forgive me, but what is a mortgage at $300,000? And then you compare that to rent too. I mean, there's nothing for rent. That's why it pains me, especially long-term people that rent for 20 years or 30 years. And I see it. I know, Keith, you've seen it too. That truly, genuinely breaks my heart because it is such a lost opportunity to have been able to capitalize on your net worth. And so it always, just renting is, I don't know when renting is a good idea ever, truly. I mean, never.
You can
So,
always talk to a lender, see what a lender can do.
Yes.
so that's great,
Yeah.
great
Right.
segue. What's the first thing that you're going to do if I'm your buyer? What are we going to do first?
Well, I want to find out their needs. I want to see where they want to live, but also want to find out their budget and what they can do. And I always say, talk to a lender to get that pre-approval on the table, and then we can go from there.
And we had somebody recently, one of my, just an amazing client that we're working with right now, but she came to me and her credit was like around 6.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't in a place to be able to purchase a home. She owns a home, but we got connected with her with one of the region's top lenders. And within 3 weeks, she had brought up her credit score well over 100 points, and we are now approved and ready to contract on a property. So just because you have some type of situation with your credit or your finances, whatever it is, like, let us connect you with the right person. Let us guide you and help you to get to that place where you can actually do something, because it's never a permanent thing. You can always make adjustments and changes.
So the key words we're using here is guide and trusted advisor. Well
Yes.
done.
Exactly.
$300,000 loan, 30-year mortgage at 6.25%. P&I is 1847.
Right, honestly,
Principal and
and
interest.
that's going to be about where entry level rent is
And
right now.
Yeah.
that is, based on buying a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, $325,000 house. We're
Right.
doing a $300,000 mortgage, and I'm looking at the rents right now, and that house would probably rent for about $2,400 at
Right.
Lake Monticello.
Rent is, I mean,
just
it's
skyrocketed.
always, in my opinion, is a complete waste of money.
Yeah. You're giving money away.
Especially $2,000 a month. You're going to pay somebody $24,000.
My first house I rented
Did I do
in.
the math right?
You did.
You want to pay someone else's
4,000,
equity.
2,000 a month. You did.
Sort of kidding.
Vivace Restaurant's giving Joseph some props right now.
Oh.
Literally,
Ooh.
Vivace is on the feed saying,
Oh.
"We love Joseph."
Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Is that Jeff?
I'm sure it's either Jeff, it might be Sarah.
Okay, hi, Sarah.
Maybe Landon watching
Oh,
the program
yeah,
right now. Maybe
yeah.
one of the best happy hours in town. I'm almost hesitant to say this because it's such a good happy hour.
Right.
And I don't want it
I'm having a
being
happy hour
swarmed
right
by
now.
people here. One of the best happy hours in town is at Vivace Restaurant, undoubtedly.
That's because
Yeah.
Joseph is literally the most fun human being
Oh,
in the
come on,
world.
stop.
And when you hang out with him, all you do is laugh.
We can laugh.
And he does,
True.
he came up with a great idea for a listing of ours right now, Pour in the Four, which,
Pour
by
in
the
the
way, if
Four.
you're
Oh,
a
I
World
saw
Tour,
that.
It's coming Thursday.
Yeah.
this Thursday, that was Joseph's fun. See, fun. He thinks of the fun ideas. That's not me.
No, that's you too, Maggie. Come on now.
Richie Cobbage, Tammy Price, hello, welcome to the program.
Hi,
NBC
Richie.
29 watching the show. We got CBS 19 on the feed. Keith, we're going to get you in the mix. I see my boy Dino Russell watching the program as we speak here. So, do we see the lake as getting potentially unaffordable for first-time home buyers? Are we at that point yet?
I mean, relatively speaking, no.
Yeah, so the thing is, that's where the homes, well, not really. There's
That's what
only
I'm
10.
saying.
That,
Right.
You don't have any.
So you can't, in my opinion, mix the inventory conversation with the first-time home buyer and affordable. The thing is at the moment, I'm just doing a quick math.
buyers,
We had an absorption of 18 homes a month from February 2nd, 2022, September 22nd to February 23rd. So the last 5 months. We're
Right.
at 10, so we have less than 1 month of absorption set up in that, and the median sales price in those 5 months was 315, average was 318 with 9 days on market.
Right.
So if you're going to sell, let's focus on selling at the moment.
Yeah.
This is time to sell. You
I
couldn't
agree with you.
pick a better time to sell. It's a challenge on the buy side. So to everybody's comment, this is where you're going to have to, this is the market where the pros come out. I've been saying this all along, and that's why we got you guys here. This is where you have to come out and you have to help guide clients through this process.
Yes.
There's going to be a couple of misses, right?
Right.
And then we're bringing folks like Ross Mortgage and Scott Morris on, so we can look at 2-1 buy downs and different options that we can help guide our client into the buy side of it. But if you're on the sell side of the house, man, you couldn't. I thought last year was a good time to sell.
And I personally think it's going to be like this
Yeah.
for a while. And it's the fact that I feel like I tell those people all the time, it's no one built for a whole decade. So we have a whole decade to catch up with. I mean, we did have construction happening, but when you compare it to where we needed to be, why would you have built? Why? I mean, you could have bought a house so much way better buys
So
through
this
resales.
is why you want to sell right now. I can look at both of everybody here and tell you there's going to be no more new construction in Fluvanna County for at least the next 5 to 10 years.
What? So
So that means
hard
whatever,
to take.
whatever.
able to take a little
Eliza
bit.
Yeah,
Pister
that's
is giving you
the
some
whole-
props
That's
right now.
my cousin. She's
Yeah.
the toppest shelf human being you could possibly
She's giving you
come
some
across.
props. She says she loves you here. You just got taken aback by his comment. No more new construction.
Oh,
Why?
please. We need new construction,
Well-
especially in Fluvanna County, because we know Almaro. I mean, just its development is challenging, just regionally. So Fluvanna is such a great option.
I hate to be a bearer of bad news, but we are not going to, there is not going to be the new construction projects in Fluvanna County for an extended period of time.
So why? So Keith, I know. So what? Tell us why.
Because it won't get approved.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I
so,
believe
so
that.
there you go. So, you
Which
know.
is crazy because it only ends up you never mind.
Why, no, I want you to explain that because why
So
is
dumb.
it important to have new construction built, and does it help the existing stock? Does it help the existing sellers?
Yes, I do think it does.
Absolutely.
Yes, I mean
Yeah.
because right now we have so many people that want to sell and want to move, and they just don't have something that they can go move on. So just speaking, going back to I don't understand why Fluvanna County's tax base is so heavily reliant on real estate and always has been. And I mean, what ends up happening, you look at, I mean, I know Loudoun County is a different beast, or Fairfax County, but they completely taxed out all their farmers. All the things that they were trying to protect, the ruralness of the community, ends up getting taxed out. When your taxes revenues only come from one source.
I've been in Fluvanna since 1987.
Right.
If everything shakes out right between the taxes in Fluvanna County and Albemarle County, the way I think it's going to go, I'm actually going to pay the same amount of cash
Which is
in Albemarle County as in Fluvanna County as if I was to live in Albemarle County.
which
Did I
is
get that right?
heartbreaking. They have more parks. They have more
But
parks and recs. They have more things.
I can look you dead in the face. So this is why this is important to have
Right.
trusted advisors and get the right information out. You know, the housing stock in Fluvanna County, the number of units to sell is not going to change for the foreseeable future.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
So that's why you need a trusted advisor to help you through the sales side and help you navigate the buying side, because there's going to be 200 more units coming on at Colonial Circle.
Right.
After that is done.
Right, which is
There's no more after that.
I can't. I mean, so again, hold your real estate if you can. But that's just so it's just so crazy because our region, where else are people going to move?
Greene County.
Right.
Buckingham, Waynesboro.
I have had a lot of people interested in Buckingham.
Augusta County.
In fact, we just
Yeah,
brought
over
somebody
to
to
Mountain.
market this weekend in Buckingham, under 2 in New Canton.
Good for you.
And thank you. And we're ratified or about to ratify.
So that's what's going to happen, right? The rubber
Right.
band is going to grow and it's going to get different shapes, but that's what's going to happen. The developers, which is the world that I know a little bit about,
Yes.
they're going to these particular markets that
Right.
they can actually produce homes on that end of it. And what that's only going to do is, the 2017, in November 2017, the median sales price at Lake Monticello was $216.
Right.
Today it's $358.
Which is, I mean, it's just so crazy to think about that. So Keith, why is Fluvanna so? Because this, if I have heard my dad, for instance, would say this to me all the time. Oh, this has been going on for decades. This is just what happens here in this county. It's always been this way. Why is that? Like, why do you think they're not going to try and develop it in an intelligent way where you could have a good quality of life for people, good parks, good places to shop at, and have like another grocery store or you know,
More restaurants.
restaurants.
You guys
Well,
need
yeah,
them.
We
Another-
do need them.
You guys need
Community
restaurants.
But that's an
things.
interesting thing because restaurants need rooftops.
They do.
And,
Yes.
and Lake Monticello is a unique animal because a huge percentage of Lake Monticello leaves Lake Monticello
during the day.
during the day.
Right.
And then usually they'll go food shopping or eating out there before they come back in. But I actually had a commercial client of mine that wanted to bring a project to Zion's Crossroads on our side of the line.
Right.
And frankly, they decided to go someplace else because there was not enough rooftops,
Oh, interesting.
enough potential employees. This was not a retail. This was an actual industrial production facility. So they went someplace else where there was more employee base for them.
It's just
Staffing.
so wild. But isn't that Food Lion? So I have heard through the years.
Second highest producing in the state of Virginia.
I heard it was on the East Coast or something like.
Not quite the East Coast.
So, irregardless, the second highest producing Food Lion in the entire state of Virginia. That
correct?
says something. That says that there is
Captive audience.
Compare, and by the way, when you think about that, what you just said, you said is the second most producing food line in the state, and then you also said that most people also shop in Charlottesville and do their business in Charlottesville, which is true. So, I mean, there is such a huge opportunity in that community. It amazes me that you can do it you can do it nicely.
Yeah,
like
unfortunately.
developing it.
Yeah, so development nowadays just take years and years. Colonial Circle took 6 years to get from concept to bulldozers putting on the thing. And a shout out to Fluvanna County. You know, they approved these apartment complexes that are going to go in there that are going to serve 60% area median income and below, which is a really, in my opinion, a great
need.
thing.
Right.
But just think about it right now. You know, in order to do a project in Fluvanna County, there has to be the political will, and there isn't.
Right.
Right? So even if there was, we got a 6-year lead time before you could do anything. And what's going to happen in 6 years, potentially?
Yeah, what do you think?
You don't-
The market may change.
Right, it might change.
I have a hard time believing just when you go back to just simple 101 supply and demand. I just have a hard time, like you just said, we're not even going to have construction happening in the county within the next 6 years. Supply and demand. I mean, it's real estate's again always a good investment.
Well, I'm so glad you said that because every time I say it, sometimes people just don't. I'm glad you said that because I think this market is going to be this market for a very long
I
time.
agree with you. It's going to be tight. So when you've got inventory, which we do,
Come on out.
all the more reason that your trusted advisor can
That's
help you
right.
kind of scoop out what's actually going to be available. There's just nothing
Let's
out
take
there.
care of it for them too. Let's do the work for them.
Yeah,
So,
that's something. Actually, it's a totally different topic,
Yeah.
but on the buyer agent side, how not proactive agents tend to be on the buy side. I think more than ever, we're going to have to be extremely proactive on the buy side. But kind of
Yeah.
another topic.
Let's get Joseph in the mix here. Before we do, you're getting props, Maggie, from Christelle at the lake. She's amazing.
I love her.
She's giving you some serious props. In fact, I'll read it verbatim on air, and I think you would be very pleased to what she says about you. Maggie has been such a light and blessing as a friend and realtor. She has some big things planned, and we are lucky to have her in our Lake Monticello community. She's the catering director at C&O, I believe, Christelle.
She and I got to hang out. What is today? Monday, Saturday night. And I see her all that. I got to show her house recently. She's another very top shelf human.
You guys, Joseph, you're getting props coming in as well. Let's get Joseph in the mix. What other markets are you excited or bullish about here in Central Virginia?
Wherever it takes me. So
Can I just say, Joseph has
Yeah.
spent just this weekend alone. He was down to Lynchburg, to Stanton, to Fishersville, to
Waynesboro,
Waynesboro, to Louisa, Fluvanna, Lake Monticello,
New
Buckingham.
Kent.
Did you go to Buckingham?
I did go, close to it.
Yeah,
Yes.
Scottsville.
Yeah. My
Over.
wheels are ready.
That's what's happening with our buyers right now. It's because there's no inventory. We are all over. Are you all over? It's
Very much so,
little-
and I talk about where the market is. It's kind of like a pear-shaped rubber band, right? Charles will be in the center, so the bottom is Fluvanna, Greene, Buckingham, and then
Right.
the top goes up to on the other side of the mountain where you are on Augusta
Oh,
and
yeah.
Stanton and Williamsburg. Waynesboro. Thank
Yeah.
you. I can get this out
Yeah.
on that end of it. But that's what we need to do. We need to become experts in these particular markets because that's what we do. You mentioned earlier before the show that I do a lot of work preparing for
Yes.
it. And the reason I do that is it really makes me better. It makes me serve my clients
Exactly.
better because now I have this data or information at the tip of my fingers.
It's
Yeah.
not just like your opinion. This is like real data of what's been happening over the market. Yeah. Oh, I think back actually to thinking about how you just don't ever try and time the market in some. Yes, I mean, 2020 is such a great example of why I had a client who decided to build in the very beginning of COVID, like right when COVID hit, and a lot of people were like, including myself, which was we just don't know what's happening, which we never do. Anyways, they decided to move forward and build and pulled right before all of the construction costs had skyrocketed. So not only did they contract to build a house that ended up, they probably had $200,000 worth of equity in it, coupled with then they sold it at then they sold it in 2021. So they didn't let other things scare them. They just knew they wanted to move. They wanted to make life things happen for them, and they decided to pull a trigger and.
So Joseph and Maggie, let's talk about your selling clients. Why are they moving? Can you kind of share what the highest percentage or what you think most of your clients, are they moving up the ladder, out of the area? What is your clients telling you?
The sellers right now are moving. I have some that are going out of state, some that are selling a second home that they only use on the weekends and they're not using it anymore. We've got another seller like that right now, another move-up buyer that's selling a lot. We have several move-up sellers. Trying to think what else. Then things like deaths or reasons why people are moving.
People want it
Job
now.
relocation, the stuff that's going on in the state is job relocation, things like that. So life things are. That's why the market's always going to continue moving too. Is
Yeah.
there are people always experience life things that make you, hey, I gotta go, or I'm coming. So a lot of job relocation into the area. Actually, we're working right now as well.
Downsizing too.
Downsizing, people that are downsizing, people who are not wanting that big massive house anymore typically.
And a change of life and a change of pace. You know, they want to go from the country to the urban.
Yeah.
They want to move.
On the buy side, are you seeing the same thing?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people wanting, so are people staying put because of the interest rates? You're hearing a little bit on that, or if they've got a life change event, that's going to happen regardless of what the interest rate is happening. Are you hearing that conversation?
Yeah, I hear a lot of people that don't want to give that rate up.
Yeah.
That wish. By the way,
How do we give up 2.75%?
Yeah, it hurts. That's like free
That's
debt.
that's what I'm saying. How do I give up 2.75%?
Am I wrong in thinking that in Europe you get to take your rate with you, like you get to apply? What
You
I
would-
mean, you might.
that
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, why can't we do that here?
Do you know?
Yona? It's Yona's
Yeah,
rate.
so
That's a great question.
that's not an uncommon thing in Europe. But
Yeah.
you also have to.
I mean, that sounds
I know a little
like-
bit about the European market. You also don't have us.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
realtors.
Banks actually do most of the listing and the selling. The methodology is very different. You have
Interesting.
real estate agents, but you don't have it set up exactly the way
It's a
way
different.
we are. It's
Oh,
a
well,
very
then
it's a very
we'd pivot and get into
setup.
the banking
it's a
side.
It's a very different configuration.
Yeah.
Woody Fincham is saying that Fluvanna County is just change adverse, and it's like that way for a lot of outer county jurisdictional governments. They're adverse to change and bringing new supply to the market. Bill McChesney, who's the mayor of McIntyre, says, is there still a water supply in Fluvanna? Can the panel talk about that at all?
Keith would know more about that.
Yeah, so great question. There is plenty of water. The sewer is the issue. There's not enough capacity on sewer. There's about a
Interesting.
half a million gallons of excess capacity of water that Aqua Virginia has, but on the sewer side, it's awfully close. They don't, and all they really need to do is spend about $8 million to upgrade the facility. The simple answer is to go ahead and do that. But
Like invest in your infrastructure.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
sounds great.
but to
Help
Bill's
the community.
to Bill's
sense to
point,
me.
though, if it used to be years ago when we first started this, my comment was Zion's Crossroad was going to be the next big growth area.
Yes.
Problem is we don't have water there yet,
Right.
right? And we have a little bit, but we don't have a lot of water there yet, and nobody really knows when it's going to get there. So there's no clarity on that. Nobody's going to come in to do a large project or try to attempt to do a large project in there with some guarantee that there's going to be this 400,000 gallons of water a day. Just put that in perspective. Lake Monticello uses about 500,000 gallons a day. So 400,000 gallons a day would produce another Lake Monticello size
Population center
kind of
thing.
project.
That would be, that's a big small town.
But I've kind of moved to green because I honestly don't see us getting that water there for another couple, 3 years.
Which is so painful because, again, that could be another tax. Like when you think about thoughtful growth, planned growth, that's such a great spot within the region to have growth commercially and residentially. Because someone once told me, I think there's like 70,000 people that go through Zion Crossroads, but some crazy amount of people that go through Zion, some number that would be like shocking to hear, go through Zion Crossroads every day from, it connects Richmond, it connects the east and the west of the state, the central part of the state. And so it's such a that was like the perfect place to develop. And you can then have it kept in that spot and not have it, feed out into.
So without the water, that's
it's not going to happen.
You've got to have the surety that water is going to be there, and at the moment that's not there. They have the infrastructure, they just don't have the capacity.
Water, and the water would then come from the Rivanna, correct?
No, that water comes from the James River.
Excuse me, yes,
Yeah,
the James, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, maybe one day.
Yeah, so
Mighty
Greene
James.
County, keep that on your radar, guys. They've got about 2,000 lots in the pipeline that will be coming up.
Which to me-
Any soft parts of the market, Maggie, Joseph, and Keith, that you're seeing?
Well,
How's luxury from your standpoint? How's the jumbo market?
Today I'm going to be out looking at a $1.5 million house, and I think it's going to go quick. I'll be surprised if it doesn't.
Talk about that. Are you? Tell me how you feel about the 1.1 million sale at Lake Monticello.
that one.
Thank you. Called it. So
Yep.
this is it's really, very
I
excited to
classify
see
that
that.
as luxury for Lake Monticello. for sure.
Absolutely. So that's really, really exciting to see because even the one that sold recently, the other high one in the 9s on Amethyst, I have told so many people that yes, there haven't been any waterfronts to trade on the market in that price point yet, but I have so many clients that have invested into that luxury, well over 1.1. 1.2, 1.3. I think one's up to 1.5.
So they bought, renovated the house, and they have that much money.
Exactly.
Really?
Gobs of money, and some of them were stunning renovations. Stuff you could see in like New York City, just
HGTV.
off the charts. Yeah, way, but like it's top of the shelf. And so we have people that are doing that, investing that into their waterfronts at the lake. But yeah, so absolutely, we are one of the most affordable. The Lake Monticello waterfront market is one of the most affordable lake communities in this Mid-Atlantic. And I do have one coming to market for $399.9, 1,200 square feet, no garage, does have nice views, great lot.
When was it built?
80s. But new roof, new
So
windows,
is
new
that
floors.
a tear down and rebuild? you
No,
think?
it's and I already know
It's already done.
we'll see. I knew who was going to buy this house 9 months ago. I was like, she's going to buy this house. I knew it. And I told the seller. It was like, I know exactly who's buying this house.
So Joseph,
Am I allowed to say that on? I don't know.
we've got a little bit in common. I'm from Brooklyn.
That's what I hear.
And you have family. So
I do.
How does that translation from working up in there down here to Virginia gone for you?
Good. Virginia's for lovers, so I had to come back.
Oh,
Joseph, that was
I don't
great.
know. I love the
That's
city.
it.
I love the
So
grind.
good. That's
I love
If you
it.
could disassemble that, you should
I
drop
know,
that mic.
I know.
Right?
Boom.
I'm out of here.
Please don't do that, Joseph.
I can't drop my
Please don't
mic
do
just
that.
yet. But
I'm done. There's no way I'm going to top that.
No.
So we need to call it a day.
no. But I'm a city boy. I got a sister that lives in Brooklyn, and
Yeah.
I think Parks, Bay Ridge.
Yeah, right near the neighborhood I
right-
grew
right
up
in the
in.
neighborhood.
It's a
So,
small world, man.
Yeah, it's great. But I came back down just to get closer to my other side of the family, and yeah, just make something out of it. So this area just brought me here because I worked out here. I was one of the top wine producers in this area, so I just got to know the area, and I took it from there to the next level. And so that's why I got into real estate. So
So why do you love what you do so much?
the people,
Yeah, isn't that cool?
it's the people. I love working with people.
And it's amazing. Everybody that are up top notch in our profession.
Yeah.
They never talk about the money.
They don't. It's
They
not about
always
the money.
they always talk about helping people achieve, their goals and dreams and aspirations and all the good ones. That's what they stop. When you start talking about the
No,
money,
it's not about the money.
It comes out, and it's interesting because I read a report this morning. Pre-pandemic, a nationwide average, most of us did 10 units per transaction, right? That's an average, right?
10 units per year?
Per year. That's the
Yeah.
average, right?
For
What-
average realtor sells 10 units a year.
That's nationwide.
Okay.
That was pre-pandemic. It's now below 6.
Right, and that's
Yeah.
gonna.
Go ahead.
Go
Go
ahead.
there.
Yeah,
I'll go
go.
there with you.
Go.
I think you're
I will go
100%
there
right.
with you.
I know what you're going to say. Say it. You
Yeah.
should say it.
I'll go there with you.
The bigger producers are going to continue to take more portion of the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's going to
10% of the realtors do 90% of the business.
Right, bingo.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
on Friday, Jerry and I are going to do a Batman and Robin show on it, and I'm actually going to look at that for CAR for last year and find out if that 10%, or what exactly is that number?
Tommy Brannick told me that. He represented me in the sale of that home in 2007. And he made that comment. It stuck with me forever. And you know what? If 10% of the agents are doing 90% of the business, is that necessarily a bad thing? Because the 10% doing 90% of the business are the seasoned veterans that understand how nuanced this
Yes,
is.
bingo.
And this project
Yeah.
and this whole selling of real estate is hard.
Right.
Wouldn't you
It
want
is hard.
someone to ride or die with you that knows what they're doing?
Yes, people.
Right?
Sorry, what was?
No, please
It's
go.
hard.
People completely think it's like you just, like there's nothing that you do to connect it all. That's
Right.
it is so challenging, and it's definitely not for everybody. And
Right.
just my waterfront thing, where I was like, I knew this woman was going to buy this house. Well, I thought maybe we'll see. I'm getting an offer today. Those are the types experience. You just
So we
Yeah.
have done
the
enough.
intangibles.
We've done enough transactions together.
Yeah.
Both different sides over the years, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And, this is when the pros show up. But I have to tell you, and I've said this on the show numerous times, I am more excited now about real estate than I've ever
Me
been
too.
Yeah,
since
yeah.
1987.
Me too.
Yeah.
And because this is when the pros show up. But,
Like hone in our craft more.
so the
right.
than
easy
ever
part
before.
is getting that home under contract, right? Really.
Yeah, it's
You think
then
about
getting
that.
it to closing.
So talk about that. Talk
Oh.
about how hard, guys, talk about how hard that
No,
is.
go ahead.
No, Joseph, you need to jump in.
No, no.
How hard is that?
It's so
so
hard.
hard.
It's so
God,
hard.
so why
But
is it so hard?
Because anything could happen. I mean, anything could happen during the process.
Yeah.
But, because I've seen it. But
Friday.
Friday.
We're not talking about it. We're not
Yeah, but
talking
did you get
about
it to close?
we will.
Or will you get it to close?
We
No,
got to the
it-
signature, but
It was painful.
no,
it's,
but
DocuSign. DocuSign. Did we DocuSign?
that one actually we did what on?
what's that?
It's never mind.
No, it's fine.
That's what I said to him. I was like, this never happens. This is
Yeah.
one of those ones where it's like the woman called me. She goes, I remembered you from 9 months ago or 10 months ago, and I just loved you, and I want to buy this house. And I never met her. We talked maybe for 15 minutes. I do remember the call very, very well. Anyway, so she contracts on a house, and then we ratified, and then they got out immediately, which is fine because it's not. We
But
don't
it
want them to buy a
happens.
house that's not the right house for them.
Right.
But I was telling him, I'm like, this never happens. We never get to deal this like.
Well,
easy,
I know, again, I
easy,
know
no
you
such
well
thing.
enough to know that you have a very high close rate, right? Once you
Very
get it
high
out.
close rate, 90 plus.
Yes.
But that was we were like, oh, I was like, this is a rarity.
How many deals have you done in totality in your career? Your team, Maggie.
We have done over 1,100 with my mom and I working together through the years. 1,100 deals, which I mean is
That's a lot of deals.
That's a lot. See, didn't we just hear 10 homes per? How many people is that? Did we do?
I'm just.
What's 700 divided by
it's
10?
just a
What is it?
national
110
quote,
realtors?
Yeah.
and it's an average because it takes out.
So my mom and I and our team have done what equivalent to 110 realtors do. Oh wait, that per year. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Okay, never mind.
Well, so
It's impressive.
it's the reason why
It's
on
impressive.
Lied.
on Friday we're going to take a deep
The
dive
1100
into it
is, though.
because in our area, our footprint, over 50% only do either 1 or 0 transactions. So it kind of
Oh,
skews.
is it?
In car,
That's
in
right.
the car
Did we have-
footprint, over 50% of the agents do 1 transaction or less.
Very, very few. Yeah, I'll on Friday I'll have exact numbers on that end of it.
Appraisers and just people that
No,
maybe.
no. These are actual real estate agents.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
yeah.
So back to Jerry's point about 10%. There is a large percentage, and that's also nationwide, by the way. That's kind
Right.
of normal. That's why that number of 10 and sub 6 is a bit disingenuous because you really need to factor out the 0. But they are
Right.
licensed agents, right? They do pay their dues.
How many
Right.
agents do you think will be piecing out of the game this year? Maggie
That's
and
what I've been
Joseph?
trying to get to.
Oh, I don't know. I
Because
don't
of the lack of
know.
inventory.
I
Do you see that happening, Maggie?
Well, yeah, I think that's a trend, like what you were saying, that agents are selling less. You said 6 homes, right? It has
That's a
gone down
nationwide thing. So we're gonna have the numbers on Friday for
for
mar-
our region.
our market.
Yeah, I mean, I do because I think that's what happened during the Great Recession. Is a lot of agents got out of the business, and even top producers in our market today had gotten out of the business. And then I'm thinking of one woman in particular. She got out of the business. She came back in. She's got huge business now, but she did get out for like 5 or 6 years. So I think for people that can, weather it, just like anything, like I said, nothing is ever going to stay the same. You continue, just keep marching on.
I completely agree with you, and also as to Will, if you got the way, like I've been in the business for almost 8 months, and I'm almost did about 10 transactions, right? I mean,
You've done 10 deals in 8 months?
He's worked on about a dozen deals.
About a dozen.
Hold on,
yeah.
hold on.
Yeah,
And he,
Give the man some props there, right?
come on, that doesn't happen.
That's legit, Maggie.
it's super legit.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That just doesn't
super,
happen.
super duper legit.
But that's just the dedication, and I think the people that are going to stay in the game, they're going to work hard and they're hungry. I mean,
Yeah.
they want to do it. So, and I want to be for. I mean, that's my.
So it's very interesting. The Keller Williams we're a Keller Williams shop, and the Keller Williams, they do a couple of things every year, and actually family reunion is going on right now out in California. And
Fun.
part of these numbers I'm reading is from Keller Williams, Gary Keller's presentation. And look, this is going to be tough competition for us
Yeah.
at this table.
It is.
Right.
now.
Right.
And the agents that don't know how to do the business
Right.
are not going to stay in it, and that may be unpopular, and maybe since I can say it now since I'm not on the car board any longer, but it's gonna be tough for those who don't know how to navigate, particularly the ones that came in, and you come in the last 6 months, but those that came in during the implosion in the last couple of years.
Right.
They don't know how to do home inspections. They don't know how to negotiate all this fun stuff that we do for a living. I've got a transaction that's closing tomorrow since 35 years was the most goofiest deal I've ever put together.
Oh, I hate that.
They had detached garages on other people's property.
Oopsies.
And unfortunately, the agent that helped them a couple of years ago never advised them to get a physical survey.
Yeah, a survey. Amazes me what a survey. I've seen it where I had a really cautious buyer get a survey done one time. There was a survey within like the last 2 years, and he was super cautious, and he said, no, I'd like to get another survey done, even though that was 2 years ago. Come to find out, the new construction that had just been built within those 2 years had put the well on the property he was buying. And so then it just made it so they had to go, this current seller had to go, the bank, it was actually a bank too. The bank ended up then, this was a foreclosure during, Anyways, the bank went and fixed the problem, and
So
corrected
do you guys always recommend physical surveys and
Oh,
why?
yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So talk about what a physical survey is.
A survey is going to show you where your property lines are, so you know what you're buying is what you're buying, because oftentimes GIS or Google Maps or something like that may say the shape of the land is X, Y, and Z, but then you come to find out that it's actually not. And so it's just an accurate representation of what piece of land that you're buying, and then you can ensure that the fence, like everything, is on your property line, or so, we'll see driveways sometimes a little bit on somebody else's property line, or even sometimes
Not
a
whole
fence.
detached garages.
That's a lot.
This was
Why
a
would-
lot.
and
Yeah.
to build a garage?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but we got it all worked out. So
Good job.
Yay.
I'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week. The buyer,
And you know what? You're lucky and good.
thank you.
You're both.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The buyer happens to be related to the adjoining property owner, so we got
Oh,
lucky.
that's
So
fortunate.
It.
boundary line adjustments.
It's
and
those
all that stuff.
nuances. It's those
Yeah.
hurdles that you have to go back into
Jump
your
through.
toolbox maybe from a decade ago and be like, oh, okay, I have the solution.
How about this comment here?
Decades.
Decades for since '87 for the young one over there, Keith Smith. Since '87, you do it well, Keith Smith. Diane Miller has
looking
given
good,
Joseph some props.
Yay, Diane.
Says
Diane.
Joseph is awesome. Dude, you're a very well liked man over here.
Thank you,
You get very
Diane.
popular on the interwebs over here.
Can't
I
help
see
it,
that.
Jerry.
All right, how about this question that's come in? So on Friday, we had a discussion on our show that we do about, is this area turning into a 65-hour work week? And multiple folks are asking on the feed here about your profession and how you guys don't have to clock that many hours doing your what? And I want to, and please make sure Joseph is in the frame over here, Joseph. See that? Okay. I want to emphasize to those that are watching how hard you guys work.
Yes.
And how often you work on the weekend.
Oh.
Put in perspective the work week, how many hours you do a week. Joseph, why don't we start with you? Look, this puts it in perspective, viewers and listeners, when I said it was a 65-hour work week community. Joseph, you go first.
I don't even know. Like, I had a buyer and a renter over the weekend. Like, I'm so sorry that I, bothered you over the weekend. I'm like, no, you didn't. This is
is when you work.
This is when I work.
Yeah.
So 7 days, 24 hours, I'm always on. Like that. I mean, you cannot not work because real estate is constantly turning. So you gotta be active. You gotta be involved. So
How would you say? How many hours a week would you say? Multiple folks are wondering.
I mean,
easily 65, right?
I mean, that's easy. I mean, and for me, the hours
Listen
doesn't
to
make
this,
a
Gina.
difference because I worked in restaurant management and I've done 60 hours a week. So 70, 80 hours, I'll say 65.
Easy.
But I sleep and still think. I mean, it keeps going.
Real estate's one of those things where you can't ever say no.
No.
There's with a team, we're working on that, so we can have our team. We talk about that, but that's why I love the team concept. So it does help us kind of work on that. But it is a full-time plus gig. It's not just like I was saying. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we made this easy sale happen.
Right.
No such thing in real estate. There's no easy sale. But don't they say that we also are some of the happiest professionals out there too? Like,
That's because we drink a lot.
That's hilarious.
That's
Oh, did I say that too quick?
no.
How many hours, Keith?
I have no idea.
it doesn't
I mean,
stop.
Yeah, we
It's
work
like-
7 days a week.
That's what I'm saying.
365
It's-
days
when
a year.
when I
we
had
travel to go visit grandkids,
You work on your
we're
vacation.
We're
With-
working.
I know.
with children, my best example is when I had my third. My mom came with me on a listing appointment.
You hear this,
and
J-Dubs.
I had like a 5-day-old with me, 5 days, like not even she. And I remember I got a memory come through recently, and I was like, oh my gosh, she really was just a few days old. And my mom would go in and talk to them. I would go nurse her in the car, and then we'd swap, and she'd go hold her while I went and did my listing appointment. I mean, giving labor, I remember negotiating deals. I mean, even sad things in the hospital. It doesn't ever stop.
It's because, and I'll try not to screw
But we're
this
lucky
up
for
because
that.
Jerry will correct me if I do it. But there's 3 essentials required to go a trip around the sun, right? What are they? Clothing,
Right.
food, and shelter.
Yes.
We help with one of the 3 requirements to go around the sun, the essentials to go around the sun for a year. and we take that very seriously.
Yeah.
Yes.
On what we do, and that's why we were talking about earlier. This is not about I'm going to make this amount of commission. If you are focusing on that, you will not survive in this industry.
Yeah, that's why. I wasn't ever thinking commission, but I was like, when we were like easy, got zapped right away.
I can't top you with the breastfeeding thing,
Oh, yes.
because I'm not equipped.
That's literally it's labor, all of it.
If you watch the show on Friday, I had my grandson and my daughter in.
Right.
They flew in on Thursday and flew out on Saturday. Friday, Yona and I were doing meetings when they were in town, doing meetings all day.
Oh, yeah.
We went out for dinner Friday night with them,
Yeah.
and on Saturday I had to take them to the airport. And oh, by the way, I did a meeting before then and a meeting after that to help a client. I was trying to deal with this struggle that we're trying to
survey.
close. The survey thing to
I always
close.
tell people my kids are never going to want to sell real estate.
Funny, I should tell you a story about that. We thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And Yvonne, our youngest daughter's moving from Seattle to Richmond, who's a school teacher, and she
nice.
the other day said, maybe we ought to talk about working together in real estate.
Oh, I love that.
And I always thought, because, they would, I remember picking my kid up late from daycare because we were taking care of clients. So we always work. We always work.
That's on
But
the
we love
daily.
it. We love it. We wouldn't do it any other way.
Oh, I hope she does. That would
Well,
be
we'll
awesome.
find out.
That's literally, I'm the daughter of a legend. That's like,
Yeah.
my dad will always say the greatest thing he ever did in his career, and they had many, multiple, hugely successful business, even before we moved down here, was us working, him and I and my mom working together. Yeah.
It's true.
Really, a life blessing, truly.
What do you love the most about real estate, Joseph?
Aw.
There's just so much. I love just being out. I love just working with people. It's like an adventure to me. So I challenge myself to get them to that other place. But it's always changing. So it's always changing. That's what kind of like drives me to the next level. I don't know. I just love it. I don't know.
You know what the best thing about our business is, the way we function our business. I know just enough about how Maggie runs her business. Raise your hands. Does anybody actually buy leads at this table?
No, we have, definitely, but we've not doing that right now.
So
Yeah.
your business is built on referrals.
So much of our business is
right?
referrals.
So is ours. Is
Yeah.
all referral. We never buy leads.
Listing appointment today, the
It's
referral.
all referrals. So you help somebody else says, look,
Yes.
reach out to Maggie. Maggie will help you go ahead and do this. All our business, our 20, 30, 40 million dollars a year that we do is all referrals.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And that is what really makes this business click.
It's the relationship, which he is the most fun. If anybody wants to have fun and just, we have the most fun.
We do.
We really do.
It's a lot of fun.
He's literally the best. So
Well, no, I can't. I'm just grateful and blessed to be on the Gonos Group and having Maggie as our team lead because and what I really enjoy is just going out into the market. When I say Gonos Group, they're like, "Oh, I know them." I know them. So it's been really good.
well, apparently everybody in Charlottesville knows who you are.
Yeah. I'm looking at the feed right
That
now.
might have
Joseph
something to do with
Barron.
the wine.
That has a lot to do with the wine.
People love this man.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
forehand, the fundamentally sound forehand, is a relationship builder for Joseph Barron over there.
Oh,
All right, how about this question for you guys?
Yeah.
The gentrifying nature of taxes in this community. I mean, Charlottesville is changing rapidly. We're talking assessments, and granted, a government can only do so much on assessments because they're tied to market values here. But the assessments, Maggie, are rising so quickly. Folks on fixed incomes are having a hard time staying put in their houses. Anywhere you want to go on this topic here. It's sad to see what's happening in some cases.
Yeah, that is sad when that happens. It's like a double-edged sword because then like the value of your property goes up, but then I think this. I've always thought the city of Charlottesville is a good. Well, if you're thinking real estate value, I know affordable housing is a different thing, but there's a finite amount of land, and so I think it's always going to be that way. because it is a fabulous city. And
So did you help folks when the tax assessments came out in Fluvanna County? I had phone calls. We had about a dozen people call us and say, "Oh my God, is my house really worth this amount?"
yeah, we do get that sometimes.
And we actually had one person that was $150,000. Their reassessment was $150,000 over market value. Did you guys
Right.
help folks navigate
Yeah,
that?
we did see things like that. So many times, especially sometimes with square footage, they'll have things wrong or whatnot. But yeah, people always sometimes will want comps to then be able to take. And
So that's a service that we provide. We don't charge anybody. This is just
Right.
part of being a good neighbors and good relational and back to this referral thing that we do for a living and how we
Right.
generate our businesses on that end of it. But yeah, we had about 12 in all the cases that we helped them present them to the county. We won all the cases.
That's
yeah,
great.
it does. The taxes, I do think people all the time. I see people all the time that are moving here from like New York City and
New
all over
York
the world.
City.
Yeah, I
City.
do. Whenever I do the market, all the
Big
young
Apple.
people, I'm like
So you know this joke. Why does Lake Monticello have gates?
to keep the New Yorkers out.
In.
Keep the New Yorkers in.
Yeah,
Keep
that's
the
funny.
Yankees in. That's
it.
So to your
I'm
point,
okay
though,
with
you're
that.
saying New Yorkers are coming down here and they're like, this is affordable.
It's so
like,
cheap,
compared
yeah.
to like, say my in-laws are on Long Island and what they're paying for taxes in Southampton is it would cause you not to get nauseous
Right.
of
yes.
what they're paying.
It has a 3 in it, and then a 0,
Yeah.
then a comma.
It would make you nauseous to hear what they were paying in taxes.
Like a small
So
income
when they,
almost.
When they come, it is
Even
Right.
legitimately. When they
Right.
come here, they're like, "This is nothing."
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do. It always amazes me at the market. I always see like young people, and they've moved from like New York City, like really young people, and buy not like $1 million house here, which is like nothing, or a townhome, and they moved.
But that migration has always been the case. When I
Yeah.
moved here, that's how we got here.
Has it been more significant with the work from home opportunities, though?
I think so.
I
think so.
Well, I'll put a little historical perspective, particularly to Lake Monticello. Pretty much from the late 80s and through the early 90s, there was quite a few. We only had, when I moved to Lake Monticello, there was only 600 homes in there, and we doubled that population. And us Yankees kind of bring other Yankees along with us on that end of
Bring
it.
'em on.
Yeah, that's what happened when.
But I built hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes there, and most of them were for Yankees.
Yeah, because they marketed so much.
Yeah, exactly
The developers marketed so much to New York and New Jersey, and then my grandparents moved. That's how we came here. Is my grandparents moved here. My grandpa was very, very successful and retired at I think it is. I mean, he was young, very, very young, and they wanted. He wanted an afford. He could have lived anywhere, but the worst tip I ever got waiting tables was from my grandpa. By the way.
So I'm glad you brought up the R word.
And he could play golf.
I'm glad you brought up the R word.
What?
What does retirement look like to you? What is your goals?
Oh,
what do you look
she's,
like?
She's got a little bit of runway.
Yeah.
No, I don't know
She's
about
the
that.
youngest person in this studio right here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I said the other day was back. What are you? 32, 31?
37.
Yeah, youngest person in the studio
You're the
right here.
same age as my daughter.
Yeah.
Did you know Yasmina?
No, I don't. We didn't play. She didn't play softball, or we didn't do
No,
the
she
same
was a
sports.
cheerleader.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting question. With our personalities, could any of us even retire?
That's what I'm trying to get to.
That's I
That's
think.
literally.
Like, wouldn't we just go crazy?
That's what I'm trying to
Wouldn't
get
you?
Yes.
That's why I'd want to do like rentals and like something where I can be still a part of. I could no.
So
I mean, I don't
busy.
know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I could. Well, let me take that back. I could do the beach.
Wouldn't you
But
get
maybe
bored eventually?
I don't know. Maybe.
So-
yoga, beach.
Christy Becky's giving you guys
gym.
props. Is she in Florida?
She's in exactly
She's
Florida.
in Florida giving you guys props.
I don't
right
know. I could do
Yeah.
yoga.
So
You could always do yoga.
so back
there you go.
back to the amount of hours, right, that we work.
Yeah.
yeah.
So retirement to me is working 50% of what I'm working now.
Yeah, that's
which is 40 hours.
right. And
Right.
So
realtors
your
never
retirement
retire.
for you is going from an 80-hour work week to 40.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
In my brain, that's what I want to try to rally back around this. How much time and effort we put into this.
Oh, into the business.
that I would-
Absolutely.
50% to me is a 40-hour work week.
Yeah, and realtors are notorious for never retiring.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like that they just don't. No, I do. I mean, yeah.
I mean,
I'd love to travel more, definitely, and of course more yoga.
I mean, my dream is to retire and buy an air. And
Oh yeah.
die.
Yeah.
Oh
every
yeah,
day.
he's a diver too.
Like I would.
See, I told you the most
I
fun
love Bon Air,
person.
by the way.
Yeah,
It's the most
gorgeous.
interesting person in
He
man
really
in
is.
Charlottesville,
I
right
know,
here.
I am
I know.
telling
And
you.
a diver?
I
And
am
he's an
telling
eligible
you.
bachelor.
A
If I-
wine
if I-
expert?
If I could,
Hibachi's
if
commenting
I
on the
could
feed
go
over
diving
here?
And he's the
and sell
funniest
real
person
estate
too.
and not even retire. It would be,
So that's the point.
That's the
our
point.
50% allows the other 50% for you to go ahead
for
and do
me
that.
to go do that.
So
But
my
I-
wife and I visit St. Martin.
And I was still working down there when I was
You
there.
were?
Yeah, right.
It
and that's
doesn't
what
stop.
we go to St. Martin a couple of times a year, and we work all the time.
Oh, where did you stay?
On the French side.
Yeah.
We've got friends there that.
Yeah, it's gorgeous down there. Oh,
Yes, diver,
Diver.
wine expert, hilarious, smart, witty,
come
funny,
on,
all of the
come
good stuff.
on. I feel like I'm on a dating show right now.
Do that, Jerry.
No, that's actually a good idea.
They don't
Is
have
that
them.
a matchmaker
so,
show?
Yes.
Joseph, I see, they don't have them
What do we do
anymore.
here?
There's a thing called Tinder.
Oh gosh,
That doesn't work for me.
no, you will never catch
even
me on a
think it's-
dating site.
I don't even think it's Tinder anymore over there.
Yeah, look at that. Shows you how much I know. You know,
I think that's
No.
what it is.
Yeah, that's the new thing.
I'm
No.
30, going on 37 years married.
Oh,
Aww.
yeah,
Best thing that ever happened to me.
yeah.
Don't
I mean,
get me started.
I know. Yeah, my best thing in my life is my dog. I love
Yes, that's
Christy says you better not get on Tinder, Joseph. That's what she says right here.
it. Don't worry,
Christy's
Christy.
commenting from Florida right here. No Tinder, Joseph. No. And she's working on finding you the next lady, she says.
Yay! Oh, she
I
would. She
love
would know.
Christy. Hi,
Christy's got the
Christy.
best
So
taste.
she's the company Yenta? Is that right?
What's a
Yenta's a
yenta?
matchmaker.
Okay,
Yenta's
thank
a
you.
matchmaker, sorry. You know what a
Yeah,
Yenta is,
yeah,
right?
I do. It's like, oh, yeah.
How about this? Joseph, this question for you. What would you like to see
Got
for the next 3 years of your real estate career? And then the follow-up is, do you enjoy working with buyers or sellers more?
I don't know. Next 3 years, just keep doing what I'm doing. I want to see us grow. I want to continue helping people. And I guess what I really like, I'm more of like a buyer's agent. I mean, I love working with buyers because I like the adventure.
Why is
So,
that?
Because I don't know. I just love finding them what they want.
And it's a good way to put tools in your toolbox.
And it's a good way to put the tools in my box.
And
Yeah.
Joseph and I are actually just so we've got everybody here. We're starting to do rental property management.
We are. Yes.
So he and I are working on that together, actually.
Yes.
So
Put that in perspective
that
for
as well,
everyone.
because
That's exciting.
That's a huge. Personally, that's. I mean, I think just as if we want to stay in this industry, like that's going to be a part of our industry. I think moving
That's-
forward as well. It needs to be a component. At least we want it to make it a component of what our services are.
That's right.
What do you think about that, Keith?
Well, since Ally Property Management sponsors this, that's
Oh,
who I
whoops.
think we
There
should
we
suggest
go.
to go out and do that. I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you.
I
Thank
used
you.
to manage
Thank
our own
you.
14 property management, and I will never do it in a million years.
Why is that?
Yeah,
It
I
is-
can understand
it is-
why.
It is a tough.
It's a lot.
It is a tough, huge amount. Off air, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
tremendous
Yeah,
amount
I
of
would
liability.
actually love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
liability.
Yes,
It's-
that's what. Have I not said that? Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot of liability. So anyway, I was doing some quick math. So United Van Lines, back to why people are moving in and out. They do a national reason why folks move in and move out of state.
Yeah.
So the Virginia inbound, 83% of that was for retirement, family, and lifestyle. So that's out of
can
one,
see
two,
that.
three, four, five, 6 different things. The other one was health, job, and cost. So to your point, why people are either moving in and out, and the math's about the same. It's about 80% for the outbound. So
Right.
why people are moving is either the retiring, family, or lifestyle
Right.
in that. So, that it's not because of interest rates or whatever. These are life things that
Life
happen.
events.
Life events that happen that make folks want to go ahead and move.
And we're so lucky because Virginia, just as a state, is a wonderful place to live. But
Yeah.
then Charlottesville is, I mean, in my opinion,
it's so
I've lived
cool.
all over. I've been in Southwest Virginia, grew up in Northern Virginia. This is easily the best region in the state. So it's like you've got a great place to just be able to get into Washington, D.C., and you can go fly out of here easy. It's the easiest airport in the world, great restaurants,
yeah.
the best yoga studio
And
ever.
wineries, there's great
And
wineries.
Yes.
Love it.
32% of the people that came in and 32% of the people who went out was over the age of 55.
Yo, I believe that too.
yeah.
Right. It's some of the best hospitals. You want to be near
Why are you
that.
staring at me when you're saying that?
My dad, it's so funny, my dad wants to be here because of the hospitals, but then he hasn't been to the doctor in like 45 years.
Well, you do me a favor. You say hi to Dad. I
He
used to
plays
love
tennis,
working
that's
next
why.
to him.
Yeah, well, because he plays tennis. That's why.
right.
Yeah,
It's a sport
he's
for
very
life.
active.
Scott Morris came on the program a couple weeks ago, and he predicts by the end of the year rates are going to be in the 4s.
Honestly,
How do you think that's going to impact the Central Virginia market?
it's going to make it stronger, even
Is that
more
going to help
strong.
the buy side or the sell side?
I think both. Both.
So really, explain the sell side, because I'd really like your opinion on if interest rates drop that low, will people decide to sell?
I do. Well, I think that especially our sellers that are kind of on the sidelines right now because they don't want to lose such a great rate, that are just so hung up on the rate, that would give them some motivation to be able, because they're going to be able to have well, in theory, you would be able to afford more.
So in the last 5
Debt.
years, according to the National Association of Realtors, it basically went from folks staying in the homes around 6 or 7 years to now 10.
Wow.
And I think you're going to see that go when they release that information later on a couple of months from now. I think in March they actually released that information. I think you're going to find in 2022 people are going to stay in there longer than 10 years. It's because of Jerry's point. He's spot on. If I'm at 2 or 3% and I'm not retiring, I'm not having a family family reason to move or
Right.
a lifestyle reason to move, I ain't going anywhere.
Right. What's the motivation
Yeah.
to
But that's
lose?
going to hurt inventory.
Yeah,
more.
I think that's why I think there's so many different variables that go into creating to sustaining a strong seller's market over the next couple of years,
And
including
that's
that.
why, Joseph, you need a guide, a trusted advisor to help the buyer and the seller navigate through all
Yes.
this
That's right.
this information. It is it's
crucial.
not on here. I talk about this all the time. Millennials love this, and 60-year-old dudes love this phone. This phone on it. But
Jeez.
when we work with millennials, they put this down very quickly, and then say, basically guide me through that. Do you guys see the same thing?
We're working with several right now.
So that they may find a house that they want on the phone, or maybe do some
Well,
search, but
yeah,
they
I mean-
They want the
seek-
guidance.
That's
They
exactly.
want
That's
the
something
guide.
that- yeah.
They're looking at Zillow, they're looking at other websites, but when they come to us, we're really in touch with what's going on with the market. So that's really important for us to be able to give them what's the ins and outs of what's happening. So
Well, I love the word guide.
yeah.
And if you read books or watch movies, usually the primary character in a movie is a guide, right? So thinking of Lord of Rings, right? Gandalf is the guide. He's the real character in the story that you want to follow through it. So being a trusted advisor and a guide is really what we do.
And a superhero.
Aw.
She's a superhero.
You guys have great team chemistry.
Oh, we
I like it.
Literally the most fun. Just come hang out with us, and we not?
We had a lot of fun.
Most fun ever.
Good stuff.
Great. Vanessa Parkhill's watching in Earlysville, Crozet, Ivy, downtown Charlottesville on the feed, some folks in Lynchburg and Richmond. All right, how about this question for the viewers and listeners, from the viewers and listeners? Do you guys see any attached product that could come on the market to help us with affordability? We just can't seem to buy these standalone houses. Although it's the dream to have the backyard for the kids and our pup to run around, they're just too dang expensive.
Yeah.
That's from Kelsey. We empathize for her.
Yeah, I do absolutely. What I did when I bought my first house is I rented out a room.
That's what I did.
Right.
Yeah.
When you bought your house through
Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rented out a room and I charged I think $800 or something, and it really helped. My mortgage all of a sudden was $400.
So
I
one
had a
of
3-bedroom, 2-bath, rented 2 of the rooms to help cover the mortgage costs.
Right.
Yeah.
Literally did that for years.
Yeah.
And I guess a house hack is what you're offering to folks. Is that what you're saying?
A house hack.
Yeah, like a way to maybe find some affordability.
Yeah, get
in a
creative
house
with
and then
it.
get creative. That's what you're saying.
Turn it into a little business that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get creative with it. Make it happen. Make it happen. you can make anything happen. Well, never mind. That's another conversation, but we
So,
talk about that.
so to
later.
answer that
Yeah.
question
We do.
specifically, I can speak. So we talked about Flavanna not having new projects coming up, but we do have one that's coming out of the ground right now, which is Colonial Circle.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of our sponsors, Stanley
yeah.
Martin Homes, is actually doing it. So there'll be 200. I think it's like a 60-40 split of townhomes versus single-family detached. So there will be a percentage of them, a huge percentage of them,
Right.
the townhomes, and they're. I'll know more later on this week. I'm meeting some folks when they're going to actually get released, but probably the tail end of this year, the beginning of next year, by the time they start going vertical and go ahead and sell
Oh
them.
yeah, that is going to do so well. There's
yeah.
going to be a lot of move over buyers from the lake.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The fact that Stanley Martin is moving into Fluvanna County, I think, is a huge sign for what they consider that county is an investment. And so, I mean, they don't make moves without doing loads of due diligence. And so I just think, again, regionally, those outerlying counties, just anywhere in this region, is a good bet.
But you'll start seeing some attached products start coming out. Some of the builders will start releasing them a little in different jurisdictions at,
Right.
at that end of it. It's just
But
not
they're
gonna-
going to have some of those as rental properties as well, right? Or what's,
Stanley Martin, that is?
Yeah. What's happening with
They're
the?
pure sale. They're gonna be
Oh,
for sale.
okay. All right. Well, then never mind. I'm just going to stop my thought there.
No, it's a good thought, but
Yeah.
they don't do rental markets. They
What,
do.
no, but the ones that are coming in over there that are going to be 60% for
Yeah,
like
so
affordable
that's
housing.
not Stanley
That's
Martin.
a different
That's
developer,
That's an apartment developer.
and that's adjacent to what's happening.
It's
over,
all one project.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it's all one project. So there's 125 apartment complexes in there that Park Properties, William Park's group is building, and then Stanley Martin is doing the single family attached and detached, and then there's
Yeah.
a commercial component.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, it's a
good.
need. We're gonna, like I said, they're gonna have to catch up for all the years lost on building, and then the fact that we are in a region that's super anti-suburban sprawl, which is great, but the fact that we are so anti to that, it's going to be an interesting market to try and figure out your solution for housing.
What's the rest of the year look like, do you guys think?
Just like probably going to be worse as we head into fall of next year. I think it's going to be this. I think we're going to be sitting on the same type of inventory levels, the same competitiveness with buyers. I could not believe, like, just the traffic we've been getting in open houses has been
Talk about that.
tremendous.
Yeah.
Talk about open houses. Are they back?
If you're not doing open
yes.
houses, what are you doing as
missing
an
out
agent
if
in
you
this
don't.
market? It's a huge lost
That's why
opportunity.
I love you so much. You're
Yeah.
directly right to the point. I love it.
Yes. It's open house. Look, that's the difference between a very full-time agent, I think, and someone
Right.
who doesn't know how to work the market. You have to be doing all of it. Open houses are a huge. I think you're going to capture buyers.
So while you're talking to me, I'm trying to take a look at what new construction attaches available in our footprint, and it's not a lot. But keep on going.
That is
I'm not
a
being
great.
rude, I'm just
No,
looking
that's
at
a
some
great
information.
thought to look for that. I think it's
And for I
Please.
mean, even for like buyers, instead of like looking on Zillow or those other websites that through pictures, it's always best to come to the house and see it in person, because sometimes those pictures are not always.
Why is that?
the goal. Well, I know why. The goal is to get them in the house.
Yeah, but I've seen pictures that the house looks horrible, and you go there and go, ooh.
Right.
You
Oh
know,
yeah, there's
Or the
that
other
for
side
sure.
too,
Yeah.
the flip of the
Oh,
coin.
yeah.
Yeah,
You see the
absolutely.
pictures and the house looks gorgeous, and then you show up and you're like, this isn't what the pictures look like.
Exactly.
Right. And I
And
think
I
that's
feel like you do a disservice to your client when you
Right.
position it that way, don't you think?
absolutely.
Well-
That's why we use professional photographers.
Exactly.
Although I can take a great picture, but the
I'm
photographers.
sure you do everything great, but that's besides
Thank
the
you.
point. What did I write on your notepad? there?
Fabulous.
I wrote fabulous.
Fabulous,
On your notepad.
fabulous.
Yeah.
What'd you write on Joseph?
Nothing.
Oh,
His is fabulous too.
All right, give me a thing. I'll write it. I'll write it.
Give the
I'll
guy
write
a
it.
nice note on
Right,
his
right,
paper.
right. How about
Give me
this?
something.
Yes.
What, we give him a smiley face? What you give him a
How
star?
about that? How about
Let me
that?
read this.
What do you
How
write
about
on
that?
there?
Hey, good looking.
Oh,
What she got cooking?
Yes. I'm telling you, the most fun
Oh,
person.
Joseph cracks me up.
Yes,
That's
yes.
funny.
You're not allowed back on the show anymore.
Oh, come on.
You're doing a great job, dude.
Thanks, man.
You're doing a great
Did,
job.
did- in the beginning, you were a little nervous.
I was.
Is it opening up a little bit? You having fun?
Yeah, it's like the Pandora box. Let's keep going.
There you go.
How about this? How about give us some final thoughts here, Joseph? Anywhere you want to go? The market, any topic at all. Then we'll go to Maggie Gunnels and some final thoughts.
No. I just appreciate this opportunity to be on the show and talk real estate and be, I'm happy to be on part of the Gunnels Group. And if you need anything, just give us a call. So I'm excited.
Did you have fun on the
I
show?
had a great time.
I
Isn't
know,
it
is
fun?
it time? It's not time
It's
yet.
a lot of
So
fun.
fun, right?
It's not over yet. No.
An hour and a half flies by, doesn't it? 90 minutes flies.
Yeah.
It does.
No, and shout out to all my people in the community, and
Yes.
let's keep going.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very well said. Maggie Gunnels, show is yours.
Oh, I am just so excited for the next couple of years. Genuinely, I think about what has happened in my life the last year and today, and it's just like, I'm just so pumped. And Joseph is, like I said, genuinely one of the most fantastic, hilarious people I have ever met in my life.
And he's good looking.
And he is good looking, and he is,
Emphasizing that over there.
What's happening over here?
yeah, so seriously, if you are in the market, like buy, sell anything, like you've got an amazing person by your side with him. Every time I'm like, oh, you make me nicer, you make me more social, you make me more fun. He really is just all of that. So,
Thank you.
and I just love being here. This is fun. I always.
You're always welcome. We
love
having
being
you.
here.
We love having you.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but you're
Yeah.
always welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So, if you're going to sell, in November of 17, there was 52 homes at Lake Monticello. Now there is 10 as I'm
52,
looking.
and that's amazing. That's amazing.
And that was actually low.
I
Low
wonder what
inventory.
I'm trying to think. I got to look at like pictures back from 2017. What was going on, babies? But it's like I don't think we were saying this is seller's market. It's more of a neutral market.
Well, so that's maybe we'll save that for the next
Yeah.
show that you come back, because I really want to dive into that, because I use days on market and absorption
Right.
as a seller's market in the barn. I think those numbers have changed. We're in a new reality.
Yeah.
But-
What do you think it is? Is it 3 months?
So I used to think it was 90 days, excuse me.
Okay.
Now I think it's probably going to be closer to 45 days to 60 days.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that is the day, but we're not even there. We're at Lake Monticello. We are at an absorption of, depending, right now we've got 20 units, and the average days on market, medium days on market was 8 days.
Wow.
So we're not even
And that's
remotely
the
close.
whole market. Yeah.
That's Lake Monticello.
Crazy.
It's nuts.
That's crazy.
But if you want to sell, now's the time to do it. What I got.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. 100%.
Keith Smith,
Yes,
great
sir.
show today.
Thank you.
Joseph, you were on fire.
Thank you.
Maggie Gunnels is always on fire.
Thank you.
This was a lot of fun. Real
Yes.
Talk with Keith Smith. All the shows archived at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com.
Yes.
Joseph and Maggie of the Gunnels Group, Keith Smith of Yes Realty Partners. We take a complicated topic, buying and selling homes, and we make it approachable on social media. It's the whole
fun.
game plan. And
Yes.
fun.
Yeah.
We entertain, we enlighten, and we educate. That's what we do
Yes.
on this talk show.
Yeah.
Love
Judah
it.
Wickhauer is our director. The I Love Seville show is up in approximately 50 minutes. Thank you kindly for joining us. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, everybody.
Yay.
He's going to tell us when the mics are off here. Joseph, excellent work.
Thank you.
Seriously, dude. Maggie,
Appreciate it.
You're a pro.
Nice.